This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, other ho there, it's Chicken O'Davin. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, October the 7th, is a former NFL running back who was good for Baltimore. Then, as a free agent, he signed with Kansas City and had better success. He even had a Super Bowl ring. And was basically in another Baltimore running back shadow before he went to Kansas City. After that, he practically just hooked up with Kansas City. He was inducted into the Kansas City Hall of Fame in 2014. The Pro Bowl Hall of Fame, I don't know if you get there, but let's try. Regardless, his name is Priest Holmes, who turns 51 today. So Priest was born in Fort Smith, Arkansas. He never knew his biological father. He only saw him for the first time at his funeral. He was raised by his mother and stepfather, and was raised in a military household as his stepfather was an aircraft technician at Kelly Air Force Base for 20 years. He would work for his grandfather's lawn care service 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and learned the work ethic that shaped him as a football player. He actually attended John Marshall High School and almost got a state championship. Regardless, Texas decided to recruit him, and so he went there. He did quite well against Houston in one game as a freshman. He had more significant playing time as a junior, getting 5 touchdown runs, and was named MVP of the 1994 Sun Bowl by knocking 4 touchdowns against North Carolina. Holmes was injured in 95. That knee injury made Ricky Williams into a star, so he was relegated to third star, the third string behind Ricky Williams and Sean Mitchell. Holmes did get 13 touchdowns, despite carrying the ball only 59 times. He ran for 3 touchdowns as Texas shocked Nebraska in the inaugural Big 12 championship game. Well, of course, there was a Big 8, and then with the Southwestern Conference imploding, 4 teams were added to the Big 12. Anyway, he did his job for Texas. Priest Holmes actually went by his first name Priest, but then he previously used his middle name Anthony, as in Anthony Holmes. So anyway, he was decent, but no team wanted to take a chance on him in the draft in 97. So he practically was selected by Baltimore to be an undrafted free agent. He would be the 4th string running back behind Bam Morris, who had a massive drug bust on him in 2000. Ernest Biner, famous in Cleveland for that fumble that cost Cleveland the 1988 trip to the Super Bowl, and Jay Graham. He appeared in 7 games as a rookie in 1997, mostly for special teams. In 98, he competed to be the starting running back after Bam Morris and Biner went down. Unfortunately, he would be 3rd on the depth chart, behind Eric Rett and Jay Graham. However, he did run for over 1,000 yards, including one 200-plus yard game, and it looked pretty good and all that. In 99, he appeared in 9 games, and in 2000, he was supplanted as a starter by Jamal Lewis from Tennessee. Holmes was the backup to Jamal Lewis, and he won a Super Bowl ring, though. Holmes would sign a small contract with Kansas City, and actually shocked a lot of people, running for over 1,500 yards in 2001 and winning the rushing title, becoming the first undrafted player to win the rushing title in NFL history. Priest Holmes had 1,600-plus yards with 21 touchdowns in 2002. However, he missed the final 2 games because of a hip injury. However, he was better. In 2003, he had 27 touchdowns, breaking Marshall Faulk's total touchdowns in the season, and that meant running and catching balls. Though it didn't last long. 2 years later, Sean Alexander did so with 28 touchdowns, and then LT in 06. However, Holmes and Emmitt Smith are the only 2 running backs in NFL history to have back-to-back seasons of 20 or more rushing touchdowns. He looked pretty good in 2004, but an injury cost him his season. And his 2005 season was also cut short to an injury to his spinal column. Larry Johnson replaced him and practically was Kansas City's guy going forward. Unfortunately, Holmes' spinal injury did not heal by preseason, so he was on the physically unable to perform thing. Of course, after missing the 2006 season, he injured himself in 2007 while he reported to training camp, and they didn't include him on the roster at the start of the season. Holmes would be back on the Kansas City roster once Michael Bennett was traded. He had a few decent games. Unfortunately, November 18th against the Colts, he re-injured his neck, and he was done for. He decided to retire. He was the all-time leader in career rushing touchdowns by a Chief with 76, total touchdowns 83, and rushing yards 6,070. His rushing yards record has been broken by Jamal Charles. Nevertheless, the Chiefs made him into the Chiefs Hall of Fame, and he picked up 8,172 yards with Baltimore and Kansas City. Won a Super Bowl ring in 2000 with the Ravens. Won a rushing title in 2002, as I said. Injuries just caught him. After 2003, he was not the same guy. He only played 19 games in a 4-season period. What might have been? Well, 86 touchdowns. Yeah, that 2004 injury ruined him because he wasn't the same guy. In the postseason, he only played 5 postseason games for 221 yards, despite the fact that 176 of them were in that one game for Kansas City in 2003 when they lost to the Colts. He was a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 35, Offensive Player of the Year in 2002, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time rushing touchdowns leader in 2002 and 2003, and the scoring leader in 2002. He got 6 points for a touchdown. Anyhow, he does hold a couple of NFL records. Yards from scrimmage per game mark of 163 yards per scrimmage, and that was only in 14 games. And had 2 seasons of 20-plus rushing touchdowns. He still holds the Chiefs franchise record for rushing touchdowns and total touchdowns. So, yeah, despite the fact that injuries ruined him for a few seasons. What might have been if Priest Holmes stayed healthy? So Priest Holmes was still fantastic. And, he's a Kansas City icon, despite his injuries. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.